Good evening, YouTube. It's your guy J Crew to you, coming at you here with my first video here in a few weeks, and I want to do a video here on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2022, before we go into the next year. With the video that I've been looking to do for a week now, but I just wanted to wait to see if there was more fallout from any more from what has taken place. It's kind of a sad video for me because it seems to be another loss or another L, as the young people say, that to me in terms of how black men handle things, in terms of how shameful this situation is. And I'm gonna touch on those aspects here shortly. The video I'm gonna do is about this guy who was a somewhat of a known rapper. Now I'm not gonna say respected, but somewhat of a known rapper named Lil Romeo. And he's to the left in this picture. He's to the left, and his more famous and well-known father, Master P of No Limit Records, basically who that was most known in the late 1990s and the early 2000s, is to the right. Uh, Romeo came. I'm gonna do a little background on him and kind of work my way up to the issue at hand here. Well, let me just kind of stay. Yeah, I'm gonna do a background. I'm gonna do a background on it first. Let me have at it like that. Lil Romeo was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, back in August of 1989, to Master P, who again is there for the right, there to the right, and his mother Sonia C. Of course, Master P was a well-known rapper in the late 1990s. After his music label No Limit Records blew up and sold millions of records over a 3 to 4 year period during the late 1990s. And keep in mind, uh, at this time when No Limit blew up, Lil Romeo was still probably between the ages of what 9 to 12, like somewhere in there, because he was he was born in '89. And keep in mind, No Limit, they started to sort of like slow down back by '99, maybe 10 years later when Romeo was only 10 years old. And so part of what happened during this period of growth for No Limit was that even though the label was turning down, there was something else in hip hop that was taking place at that time that sort of inspired Master P in the next few years that came after. If y'all remember that rapper Lil Bow Wow, who was up under Jermaine Dupri and his So So Def Records, Lil Bow Wow blew up as a star, and he was only a kid when he started rapping, like around the age of what, 10 or 13, somewhere in there. And I think Jermaine Dupri and them kind of wrote his lyrics, and they just put out his music. Uh, After Master P saw this, even though I don't know if he's ever publicly sort of said this, all of a sudden we saw Master P's son, Lil Romeo, who again is to the left. He came out and he started releasing music. And let me go to this page right here on Wikipedia. It's going to list, Lil Romeo's albums here. And as you can see, in 2001, which would have made Romeo around, what was that, 11, 12 years old, Master P released the album called Lil Romeo. And they used a sample from that Jackson 5 song. Uh, and I'm trying to remember the song on top of my head, but I can't remember it. Um, Let me find it here. It was a Jackson 5 sample. Yeah, here it is. My baby. It was called My Baby, but the song's called I Want You Back, and it was a really big song. Um, it appeared on that Black Entertainment Television music video program, um, 106 in Park, and it was being promoted everywhere. And it basically sort of introduced the world of Lil Romeo. His album went on to sell over 500,000 copies. Keep in mind, even though that was a big single, his album overall only sold 500,000 copies. You would have think with so momentum like that, it would have went maybe double platinum or something, but it didn't. Uh, Let me see. A year later, uh, he put out his second album, as you see here, called Game Time, but it did not sell as well. And let me see if they list how many albums it sold with Game Time. It lists the first week sales of 93,000 copies. But as you can see, it did not go gold. And so it just kind of came and went. Then a year or two after that, he released another album called Romeo Land. It again was not as successful. It did not go gold. So even though Romeo was out there, it wasn't as successful as his first album. Again, his first album only sold 500,000 copies. And the reason I'm saying is that when you're dealing with videos that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars to make, uh, you're not gonna make a profit if your album is only selling 500,000 copies. And that's the significance of those numbers that I was just showing. Was that even though it may seem like initially, he had a nice little takeoff there by going gold, his next few albums were not as profitable. Let me readjust my camera here on my phone. Phone fell out of place here. And and there's a reason why I'm even mentioning album sales this early. I'm gonna get to that in a little bit. As for anybody who's followed Lil Romeo's career, his career didn't end with him just kind of putting out music. We would eventually see, as you can see here, I'm getting to the movies here. He appeared in different movies, over the next decade. Romeo appeared in, as you can see, there, a movie called Honey. I think they had Jessica Alba, I believe is a part of that film. And as you can see down here, he's in different movies called Decisions, God's Gift, Crush on You, Uncle P, Black Superman, Medea's Witness Protection, Frog Kingdom, Could Be This Love, Brotherly Love, a girl like Grace, going all the way into 2015. Even in between all that, if anybody's followed Romeo's career, uh, as you can see with this picture right here, he played college basketball at the University of Southern California. So Romeo, he wasn't the biggest guy. He maybe like 5'11 ish, like somewhere in there. And he got a chance to play basketball, and at a top school. And this is what has not been talked about, a whole lot. Is that he really had a chance to play top basketball at a school. And what I'm really getting to here is with all these opportunities that Romeo had, it really was based around who his father was, Master P. Most people just would not have, have this chance. It said, and I'm going through his biography here. It says Miller played basketball as a point guard for 1 year at Winwood High School before he transferred and became a 3-year starter at Beverly Hills High School. Keep in mind, Beverly Hills, obviously that's a very extensive, or excuse me, expensive, uh, zip code to stay in. And so who was responsible for that? Master P. Because of the success he had with No Limit Records and the independent films he put out. As I mentioned, with all the movies you saw Romeo appearing in, and he's playing basketball and all this stuff, if Romeo's father wasn't Master P, he probably would have never made it to USC. He probably would have never, had a chance to be in some of those movies. So Master P was responsible for a lot of Lil Romeo's success, and I kind of skipped over this. But it says as a junior during the 05-06 high school season, he averaged 13.9 points and 5.6 assists per game. As a senior the next year, he averaged 8.6 and 9 assists a game. With numbers like that, he still had a chance to go into USC and have a chance. And they said this was largely due to his friendship with DeMar DeRozan, who was an All-American from Compton, California, who's also been a long-term NBA player. Yeah, or else Romeo probably never would have, had an opportunity to do that. All this stuff I just mentioned to y'all is leading to what's going on now, in my personal opinion. For the past week or so, there's been kind of like an explosion between Lil Romeo and Master P. Master P put out a tweet, and the tweet basically was saying, uh, I'd like to express my condolences to DJ Twitch, who was a DJ on that Ellen DeGeneres show, her talk show that come on in the morning time. He had committed suicide. He was a long-term DJ. And the reason Master P even said that is two reasons. The first reason, Master P was planning an upcoming concert like in January. And supposedly it was supposed to be like a benefit concert based around mental illness. And and uh and DJ Twitch was supposed to be DJing the show. And as you can see, this is a part of Master P's tweet. Let me put his whole tweet. Let me pull up his whole tweet. As you can see, that's DJ Twitch right there. And this is a Master P's whole tweet. It says, "Rip to the one and only dancing DJ Twitch and salute at Snoop Dogg for celebrating. These are crazy times we are living in. You can be smiling one day and gone the next. He's supposed to be a guest DJ on the concert we will have it January 13th. Life is too short. Appreciate your loved ones. Mental illness is real. Shout out to Post Malone and Dre London for coming together with me for the cause. God is good." And then something strange happened. Lil Romeo kind of put up a responding tweet, and it's got the whole internet world talking. And part of the reason why I'm doing this video, as you can see, Romeo said today was a boiling point. I seen a man avoid his own children's struggle with suicide, depression, but post another man whom passed today that he doesn't even know. Y'all idols be lost. Better start following the blind. Watch when it's revealed. Basically, what happens is that Romeo was coming at Master P saying, man, how could you celebrate this DJ Twitch? And then, what he was referring to is that Master P's daughter, of course, Romeo's sister, I think her name was like Tatiana or something. She had committed suicide over the past year or so. She was known to have mental illness and be on drugs and stuff like that. So Romeo kind of was in his feelings. He basically was saying, I feel like you didn't pay enough attention to your own daughter, but you actually celebrate somebody else's, loss. And most people just felt like it was a terrible thing for Romeo to say, including me. And it's like Master P was just saying, hey man, I want to show love for this other DJ, but then Romeo turned it like into something else, and it kind of turned it into a moment where he took shots at Master P, and it was just real confusing. As you say, yeah, they had a daughter named Tatiana Miller who died from a drug overdose earlier this year, and I think it may have been fentanyl she was involved in. And what followed in response was, I think Romeo put out some more tweets for saying that the image that Master P is presenting is fake. Their family has never had anything really in terms of people beyond Master P, like Lil Romeo. That when Romeo was rapping as Lil Romeo and on those TV shows, he said Master P, used that money to pay his taxes, and he never gave Romeo anything. He also kind of went on to say that since they were 18, they had been living check to check, so they never had the opportunity to save any money. And as children. And so he basically took shots at Master P, saying that this philanthropic stance that he takes as a black man who's been a successful rapper is bull crap, and that he basically just was lying. And in response, Master P, I think he did an interview with this other YouTuber named Nino Brown 305. He's just kind of this goofy acting guy out of Miami. And Master P was breaking down, I guess, some of the stuff in terms of the finances that came from Lil Romeo. And I'll let y'all click over to that interview yourself. It's like an hour long. But Master P basically is defending himself by saying Romeo, it wasn't as, as an entity, he never made as much money as he he probably was presenting by his tweets. And so it wasn't like that there was a lot of money to give to Romeo to save. And this is the part of the video where I'm going to finally get to my own thoughts on this. I just want to present to y'all some of the facts, from what, from both sides in terms of, what both sides represents and what they were saying. If I believe that Lil Romeo should shut his mouth and not say anything about his father. Master P figured out a way to hustle their family out of New Orleans. To my understanding, Master P dealt the little drugs when he was younger. He had a basketball scholarship himself to the University of Houston, but I think Master P blew out his knee at one point, and that ended his basketball career. Nevertheless, when No Limit blew up, it allowed Master P to move Lil Romeo and them out of the hood in New Orleans. Master P figured out how to do that like in a masterful way. How to be successful to the point where he can move his family out of poverty, kill generational poverty, and create a money flow of sorts to where it can be passed down to the generations. With this happening right here, this might damage that. Because when Lil Romeo came out and said what he said, I think he just came out of his face. And he just inappropriately just spoke. To me, you should honor your father. As it said in the Bible, honor thy father. And if you were blessed enough to where you're in a position to where you had a father who figured out how to hustle y'all out of poverty and to continuously keep y'all in the public eye, including your own, but I don't think you should talk bad about him like that. I think it was just tragic that Romeo came out and said something about his dad like that. No matter what the real truth is. Keep in mind, when I was talking about Romeo just a few minutes ago, he was like a toddler and a teenager and a young man. Now he's 30-something years old, 33, 34, whatever year. And Master P even said this in different statements over the past week or so. How in the world are you mad with Master P when he gave you the opportunity to be seen, to be on records, be in videos? Not only that, go to a Division I school to play basketball because of who you knew, be in movies, and you ain't learning enough to sort of sustain your own career. That just tell me that Romeo, he more or less along the lines of a buster. It's almost like, he sound like like a punk. If you want to come out and just blame your dad for everything that's wrong in your life, for you not being successful, for your siblings not having money, your parents do what they need to do for you up until you 18, and beyond that, they can still help you, but it's on you beyond that. Master P was just generous enough and smart enough to develop business and entertainment relationships to where he could put his son in different productions. And I don't even think I named everything. I just showed y'all a broad list of what he did. I think one of the latest things that Romeo did was like growing up hip hop. It was like a reality show on BET. And I think he was on them, I don't know how many seasons, maybe 1 to 3. I don't know how many, y'all to look that up. But he had the opportunity to go do that. And to me, if Master P's doing all this, and you got to the point where you're kind of bitter by the time you're in your 30s, I got questions for Lil Romeo. If you're so embittered about not having money, why did you step to the side when you were like 23 or 20 and say, hey, Dad, I don't like the way these splits are coming down with this money. Let me go out here and try to get some on my own. Let me get out this business relationship I'm in with you. Why he ain't never say that? Why Lil Romeo never say that? To me, as a grown man, you should have come out and you should have said something. And again, I'm not saying, maybe he has had these conversations, but you need to get a lawyer and get out of your relationship with your dad if you're so dissatisfied with him as a business leader for you. That's what was so disappointing to read about Lil Romeo. It was hard to believe that he was just throwing all this dirt on his father's name, and over the past few weeks. But yeah, he never had the kahunas to come out there and express these things and get out of that business relationship before the past few years. It was just hard to understand. And I'm like, if you're a grown man, you should have learned how to, get some on your own. When your daddy put you in a basketball uniform at USC, probably, he put you on a show on Nickelodeon. I don't think I mentioned that a few minutes ago. That was another show he was on. I forget what the name of the show is. I think it was on Nickelodeon. You didn't have enough, kahunas to go learn for yourself and develop your own kind of companies and your own relationships in the entertainment world. And that's what's so weird to me, excuse me, about hearing this talk for Lil Romeo. It's just very bizarre that he hasn't learned anything up to this point. And you would have thought he just would have handled his business as a man, say, all right, Dad, thank you for doing all this for me. I got it from here. He just hasn't learned anything at this point. And that's just kind of weird to see that. And but again, it's an embarrassment more for anything. It's a bad look for black men, because to me, if it's showing that you can't learn to do for yourself, if you can't learn, to create these opportunities, when you had one of the best known businessmen in the hip hop community as your guide, your leader, and your father, it just makes Romeo look like he's a sucker. Because you would just, as long as it was successful, as long as you had opportunity to stay out there like that, you were content, with your dad being your leader. You were content with that. But it just made he sounds like this a bratty kid who came up easy during his younger years, and he hasn't really taken the bull by his horn. He talking about Master P. What about you? What about you, man? You talking about Master P. What about you? Well, you could have did more to help your sister. Why you always looking at Master P? Why you always looking at your daddy? Just analyze yourself, see what if you could have did more to salvage that situation. Let me tell y'all something. If somebody on drugs, I don't know how you salvage that. You pretty much got to pray for them and offer them a chance to get in recovery. And I think she maybe was put in a recovery program by Master P or maybe Lil Romeo. But I mean, for real, I just don't understand how he just throws that much dirt on his father's name when you probably could do it because you're a known entertainer. That's very weird to see that he's so willing to come out there and do that. And again, he's a grown man. Going back to his quote unquote successful childhood, as I said, with album sales back then, before social media, when Romeo first emerged, you had to sell album man to make money. Keep in mind, when I told you about that single that they used from the Jackson 5 called "I Want You Back," and that was a sample. The significance of that is you can't make no money off of that if you're reusing somebody's sample. All that money went to the Jackson estate. And Master P even mentioned this in the interview he did this past week. And I think he may have said that on that Nino Brown 305 interview. That was the significance of that. Is that it was just a promotional single because it wasn't allowed to make no money. But yeah, it was the most successful single on the album. And the album itself only sold 500,000. Back then, when the music industry was more profitable before social media and streaming became a known entity, they would make music videos that would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not a million. And so that tells you that Romeo never made a profit, because I also mentioned he released other albums and they never went gold. But they may have had anywhere from 12 to 17 songs on there. You got to pay producers, engineers, writers, because I'm not saying Romeo wrote all those raps. So he never made a profit. So to come out there and say, well, we've been living from check to check since I've been like 18. You can't really say that your career was that successful when your dad just totally hid your money like that. And again, if he did, you should have questioned that arrangement. And that's why I was so sad to hear Romeo's take on this. Was that I mean, he has no reason to speak on his father, given that Master P busted his butt and did so much. And he's out here questioning him, talking about his loyalty to his daughter, questioning his reasoning. If I was the little Romeo, I wouldn't say nothing. I'd be like, "Hey, Dad, how you want me to jump?" Still, I don't care if I was living in an apartment. He gave Romeo the opportunity to make music, go to school, play basketball, have sex with a lot of good-looking women. Cause I think Romeo himself maybe got like 1 or 2 children, and so Master P's a grandfather. And so, I don't understand what was behind him doing that so publicly. If I had a real beef with my father like that, that would be handled behind closed doors. The public would not know about that. Plain and simple. No, nobody would hear about that if I was in his shoes. I even handle that like that in my personal life. If I got an issue with an elder, that's not aired out on no social media or nothing like that, or no video or no tweet. You know what I'm saying? No post. That's a phone call on a personal level. I got an issue with somebody. And I think that's how he should handle this. And this is really, really sad to all your fathers done for you. It just showed that he's an ungrateful little man. He's an ungrateful little dude, man. And it's just really, really sad that he's just shown the ability to be that ungrateful. And I just didn't think I would see this. She got J. Crew to you coming at you again with my first video here on New Year's Eve. I might decide to pump up another one here in a little bit before the new year breaks out. But I just wanted to give my take on this sad situation with Lil Romeo and Master P. Because I think amongst black men, it just makes us look terrible that we're willing to do stuff like this publicly. When, black men, it's already hard enough for us as it is. When you see black men going at each other who are in the same family, and the younger man just hasn't assumed responsibility like you think he should, it's just weird to me that you see a grown man complaining about his father when his father created 3, 4 different major lanes for him in life. It's just crazy to see that. If y'all like the video, hit the like button. You want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Y'all have a good one.